This is the Henderson County Consumer Decision-Making Team that competed last year in the regional contest and the state contest, and we were fortunate enough to get to go to Denver to the national contest. These kids are all students at the same high school, and they work on committees together, and so they have a pretty good working knowledge of how to work with each other. One part of the consumer decision-making contest, though, that is a challenge for the teams that we've had in our region and our state is the group think process. And in the group think process, it says, after they've judged all the classifications and ranked the products, that they have a group think activity that consists of 5 basic steps. They get a story, and they ascertain the issue or problem and state the facts. They determine alternate solutions to the problem. They discuss goals or criteria varying on the decision. They evaluate the alternatives according to the goals or criteria, and they make a decision based on the above evaluations. So, that sounds kind of complicated for high school students, really. So, in breaking it down, and we had several different issues or examples that we practiced with, but today we're going to make a videotape of the regional contest scenario. And I really think that when they got to the regional contest scenario, it was an easy one for them. It was easier than some of them that we had practiced with. In some of the more detailed instructions, it says they have 10 minutes for this process, and they will be before judges, and the judges will be judging how well they work together. The process suggests 3 minutes for read-through, 3 minutes for discussion, and 2 minutes for their final statement. And each of the 4 has to participate in the final statement according to the scorecard. One thing this is not in the scorecard, but it says determine alternative solutions. So they need to think outside the box. So I guess it is in the instructions. But so anyway, as y'all work through it this year, tell me what some of the challenges were that you see with the group think process.
Well, one of the things that we always had to make sure was that everybody was included, even maybe the quieter people. And so we did that by asking each other questions and just staying really in tune with each other and not getting caught up in what we were saying. You have to have good communication with your team members.
In some cases, I've seen people that kind of monopolize the whole conversation. So I think that you all did very well at including everybody, and the score sheet shows that you did. You really had to have your hat on when someone read the paper. You had to be ready to listen. Jacob, how were you ready to listen?
Well, sometimes you had to ask the reader to read it once or twice because you didn't grasp everything that was in the passage. So you had to go back and search through it and dig through it a lot more harder the next time.
All right. Behind me, you see that we did a worksheet, a grid, and in the practice material, it did give us a grid like this. So, did you always think that it was easy to work with this grid, Dottie?
Sometimes you get a scenario that didn't exactly fit the grid. So in that case, you could just, do as best as you could do with the grid, or just omit the grid altogether.
Well, what are some examples of criteria?
Well, you get the different alternatives out of the passage, the different ways to solve the problem, and then you look at the criteria, you look at what you need these alternatives to do, if you need them to be cost effective, if you need them to be healthy, or whatever.
All right. Okay. Well, we're going to make our videotape working through this one situation